Afternoon and welcome to Q4 press meet for NIIT Limited and NIIT Learning Systems Limited. Making the announcement today, we have with us Mr. Rajendra Pawar, Chairman, Co-founder, NIIT Group, Mr. Vijay Thadani, Vice Chairman, Managing Director, NIIT Limited, Mr. P. Rajendran, Joint Managing Director, NIIT Limited, and Mr. Sapnesh Lalla, CEO and Executive Director, NIIT Limited. To set the context and start the discussion, I would like to request Vijay to share his views, please. Over to you, Vijay.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining this press meet. We'll keep our comments very brief so that you get a chance to ask some questions. So first is we are here to discuss the annual results of NIIT Limited and NIIT Learning Systems Limited for FY23. By NIIT Learning Systems Limited, as you would recollect and have been briefed in the past, that there has been a strategic demerger announcement by NIIT, which has led to the establishment of two distinct entities, NIIT Limited and NIIT Learning Systems Limited. I'll refer to NIIT Learning Systems Limited as NLSL. The board of NIIT Limited had recently announced that the corporate learning business, which was part of NIIT Limited before the demerger, has now been transferred to NLSL, that is NIIT Learning Systems Limited, under the composite scheme of arrangement, which became effective on 24th of May 2023. So going forward, NIIT Limited will continue to focus on and operate the skills and careers business, whereas NIIT Learning Systems Limited, NLSL, would operate the corporate learning business. Today, we are discussing the results, annual results of both these companies. Just to also complete this picture, this is a mirror demerger, which means the shareholding of NLSL will be a mirror copy of the shareholding of NIIT Limited. Every shareholder in NIIT Limited would also get one share of NIIT Learning Systems Limited. And this will be done after the record date, which has been set for 8th of June 2023. After this, NLSL would also get listed on the Indian stock exchanges as per the regulations. So right now, I would request Sapnesh to take us through the results of NIIT Limited as well as NIIT Learning Systems Limited, which though has not been listed as yet, but for good governance reasons, we felt it would be useful to announce it to the whole world, since we are used to discussing the results of the two businesses together in the past. So with that, I hand you over to Sapnesh Lalla.
Thanks, Vijay, and thanks everyone for joining in. As Vijay pointed out, we are discussing the results of NIIT Limited and NLSL separately, and I'll talk about them respectively. NIIT Limited recorded a revenue of 341.3 crores in FY23. This was up 36% year on year. The EBITDA recorded for FY23 was 1 crore. For NIIT Learning Systems Limited, the revenue recorded for FY23 was 1,361.8 crores. This was up 20% year on year. The EBITDA recorded for FY23 was 315.4 crores. The EBITDA margin was 23.2%. And the profit after tax was 192.2 crores with an EPS of 14.3 rupees. Overall, both businesses showed robust growth over the year and have exemplary opportunity in front of them so that they can capture most of the headroom that's available to each one of them. Thank you.
You may also want to add the managed services contracts?
Sure. The NLSL business added 12 new managed training services customers. Its tally of managed training services customers now is at 80. The visibility for the business is at $363 million.
And we acquired 100% interest in a company in
St. Charles.
called St. Charles Consulting Group LLC during the year. Okay, I think to talk about the future of NIIT as we go forward, and more specifically on NIIT Limited, I would request Mr. Rajendra Singh Pawar to give us a brief.
Good afternoon, everyone. You've got the highlights of the results for the year. But I think as Vijay Thadani started by saying and informing you about the demerger, which has created the new entity NLSL. Let me say a few words on both of them and their trajectory, which is what constitutes our future. So NLSL deals with learning outsourcing, is a recognized leader in the field at a global level, works for Fortune 1000 companies, has 80 top-level marquee customers, and in the learning outsourcing space, pretty much in the top 5 at a global level. They have a very clear trajectory in front of them, an excellent team, a very good set of services covered under what we call as managed training services, and is therefore poised for very good acceleration and good growth. And of course, they have a strong balance sheet which can help them to aid the growth through M&A activities. NIIT Limited, the company which is focused on individuals and on India as a market in this part of the world, this will sharpen its focus. And this is where actually we anticipate and we are planning for a number of significant changes. So we've seen that the marketplace in the recent past has been shaped and is getting shaped by a number of very strong forces at work. The whole situation around the IT industry and its talent challenges, the whole issue around COVID and what happened as a consequence, the ups and downs. And we see that this turbulent time, in fact, is creating a space for us which can help us to emerge as strong players like we have done in our 40 years at different points in our history. So we are putting together a growth plan which is going to be driven by 3 vectors of growth. The first of this is that while we are very dominant in the IT space and have also got a significant play in the talent for banking, we are going to be broad-basing the spaces in which we play in many of the emerging areas which are coming up and where the talent needs are emerging as very strong needs. Take, for example, the new manufacturing, take supply chain, take areas like design, engineering, R&D, and so. So this is one vector of growth which will help us to broad-base offering and deal with talent on a more comprehensive level. The second is to do with further investments in our pedagogy, in our method of learning. We have built centers and operation globally in these last 4 decades. We've also invested heavily over the last 2.5 decades on the platform. So the creation of the new hybrid model post-COVID, no one's as well equipped as we are, and we are looking at a lot of further investments, starting with, of course, areas like AI. And finally, we are gearing up to rework the organization design as we look at preparing for growth, and therefore restructuring, transformation of the organization of NIIT Limited is the third growth vector. And together, these 3 vectors will help us to accelerate growth in NIIT Limited. So in conclusion, for NIIT Limited, I only say that the 80s and 90s saw us create talent which drove the IT sector. In the next 2 decades, we worked closely with the leading financial institutions and banks to build talent for the banking sector. This decade is going to see us broad-base these sectors and build talent for the nation. In a sense, when we started, our mission was bringing people and computers together. Now we are repurposing to say that NIIT is the talent builders to the nation. So we have a huge ambition, massive opportunities getting created by the resurgent India, 4 decades of leadership, and of course, a brand which is trusted. So that is what gives us confidence about the future. Back to you, Vijay.
So we'll open this up for Q&A. Randy, you wanted to see?
Yeah, I don't want to.
And while some of us have one-on-ones after this, but the rest of us are available here to handle the Q&A. Thank you. Okay, there are no questions. Oh, there is. Okay.
Prasood, you're on mute if you're talking.
Am I audible?
You're audible.
It's unmuted.
Yeah, now you're audible. Go ahead.
So my question is, why is P&L number of NLSL not reflected in the consolidated figures of NIIT?
Sorry, I couldn't understand.
Repeat the question, please, Prasood.
Numbers of NSL,
Why?
consolidated.
Oh, okay. The reason is NIIT was one company. So if you had to add up their revenues, that would have been the revenues of NIIT before demerger. After it has demerged, it has become 2 companies. So there are 2 independent companies managed by independent boards. Of course, the founders are same in both. One of them is listed as we speak. The other is going for a listing and will get listed after the record date. The process will take maybe another 45 to 60 days, and that is when it will get listed. So obviously, the results are not to be announced in a consolidated manner. They have to be announced as 2 separate results.
Okay, but which is the parent group that will govern this 2 entities?
No. There is no parent group. They are 2 equals. In a
Okay.
demerger, one company becomes 2 equal companies, independent companies.
Okay. And what's the like you said that you'll be now transforming yourself into build talent for across all the sectors. So if you can give me some guidance on the growth path for that, how will you build those capacities and what is the way forward?
Yeah. So as far as the NIIT Learning Systems Limited is concerned, maybe Sapnesh, you can explain a little bit more.
So NIIT Learning Systems Limited, which now houses the corporate learning group business of NIIT, has a very clear direction, is in the top 5 learning outsourcing companies in the world. Goal is to become a leader in this space. Believe there is very significant headroom available. Only about 25% of global 1,000 companies have sourced their training at this time. Over the next several years, we believe that we have a great growth opportunity. We have set up a goal of getting to $400 to $500 million in revenue by FY27.
Okay, and in NIIT Limited, let me just complete the picture. In NIIT Limited, it is undergoing a transformation, and the transformation journey actually started in 2021. We have seen a rapid growth, though from a very small number, a rapid growth of nearly 65% CAGR over the last 2 years. And we believe that this pace will be kept up. The opportunity size is very, very huge. You are all aware of the number of graduates that come out of colleges. NIIT Limited at one point of time used to service nearly 400,000 to 500,000 graduates every year. After it has gone through the transformation process, it is now gearing up momentum. And last year itself, in early careers and working professionals, NIIT Limited trained about 178,000 students. So is on a growth journey, and we have a very ambitious growth target over the next few years.
And how's the division of workforce between the two entities?
Sorry, Prasul, can you just repeat the question? We'll take this last question now, and then we'll be available for one-on-ones. Go ahead, Prasul.
Okay. How's the division of workforce between the two entities?
How's the division of workforce? Oh, okay. So NIIT Limited would have about 1,000 people, and NIIT Learning Systems Limited has about 2,000 people. 2,300 to be more precise.
And what about the top management?
The two companies have independent top management teams. In case of NIIT Learning Systems Limited, Sapnesh Lalla will be the CEO and the executive director on the board. The founders are still involved in this company as well. And I am the vice chairman and managing director. Rajendra Singh Pawar is the non-executive chairman. In NIIT Limited, Rajendra Singh Pawar is the executive chairman. I will be the vice chairman and managing director. And we have a bunch of business leaders who are well groomed, who would be running the company.
Thank you.